Hello, Misho.
My brother,
Nice to see you again.
nice to see you again, bro.
To our viewers, want to welcome you to Wisdom Time Out with Misho and Sam. In our previous episode, we were able to discuss the need for self-development, and some of the take-homes in that particular episode is that when God wants to bless you, He blesses you based on your capacity. And we also give out a final counsel that there is need for you to go under mentorship before you launch into any venture or business that you intend to launch into. So this time around, we're going to be looking at the village people syndrome. And this particular topic was a promise from our previous episode. Before we continue, I'd like to call on my friend and brother Misho to also introduce himself and talk introductively concerning the topic that we're
Yes.
about to start with today.
Thank you so much, my brother Sam. You've really done a good introduction.
Yeah.
This is Wisdom Time Out with Sam and Misho. As usual, we always share, knowledge, words of wisdom together. What we actually sit down to discuss, we want our viewers to also, partake in this wisdom that we are sharing with each other.
Yeah.
Last time, I was really, really interested in that topic. That is the village people syndrome.
Yeah.
You could see that, but it wasn't the actual. It wasn't the subject of discourse at that point in time.
Yeah.
So we couldn't even, delve into it. But today, I think it's a whole topic on its own, and I believe we are going to learn from what we are going to be sharing with ourselves. Both we here and the viewers that are actually watching us. So you can also feel free, to share your opinion. We are all learning, and let's see what it's all about. What the village people syndrome is all about.
All right. Thank you very much, Misho. Yes, the question I would like to throw to us first, of which we are going to be addressing on, is what is the village people? I know most times in our conversations, we bring about the village people syndrome, and also from conversations that we've listened to, we've seen where people blame the village people for whatever that was happening to them at that moment. So first, what the village people syndrome is all about, it's a situation whereby people believe that there is a spiritual interference for the negative outcomes in their life. The spiritual interference to the negative outcomes in their life. For example, when someone tries to achieve a particular goal, and at the end of the day, he ends up not achieving that particular goal, he blames it on the village people. For example, when someone is supposed to go for an interview, and at the end of the day, they forgot their certificate or the necessary materials that are supposed to be presented during the course of that interview, they blame it on the village people. So the question we are trying to ask today is that, is the village people real? When I say the village people, I'm referring to spiritual interference in our daily activities. And if the answer is yes, how do we handle these village people? How do we handle this situation in order for we to be able to achieve our set goals? And I would like to call on Misho to can you please speak briefly on this?
Okay. Thank you so much. Talking about the village people.
Yes.
You raised the question and you said, is the village people real? The village people can be real depending on the person. It depends on an individual opinion.
Okay.
Because the village people has become a regular household name now. When you say village people, it's a regular household name. It has become a popular slogan.
Yes, it's so slogan
in Nigeria.
Yes.
Everybody is conversant with the village people. But one will not delve into realities of either it is real or it's not real. It depends on an individual. When you say the village people, whether it's real or not real, it depends on the individual.
Okay.
It depends on the individual background. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? For some of these let me say, we have two classes here, of people, of citizens
Okay.
in Nigeria. We have the higher class and the lower class. The higher class are the wealthy people, and the lower class are the people that
Struggling to
struggling to
survive.
survive. But those in the higher class, where everything works for them, because of they have the wealth to do whatever they want to do. It's difficult for you to start explaining the village people to such
them.
a child. It tells you what is the village people. The village people, it doesn't make sense. So that's what I'm telling you, that it's based on
Class.
based on individual.
Yes, individual.
Yes, based on individual. The individual can say yes, the village people exist because this is what the environment taught him to believe. So for the wealthy class people, they will tell you, well,
It doesn't exist.
they might have had that slogan because they are living in Nigeria, but you have to find a way to convince them that the village people exist. Why for the lower class, that is the poor people who actually struggles on daily basis, they tell you yes, or more, it is village people, because once you fail to succeed or do the right things that will lead to the path of success. Because the reason why I'm trying to say succeed or success is because even success is relative.
That's right.
It depends on what you term as success.
That's right.
Yeah, okay, so but for many poor people, success to them is money. Success to them is making money. The moment you make money, they feel they are successful. Now for those people, for that level of people, you see, you can actually play with their intelligence, because this is solely what they believe to be what success is all about.
So it means such category, money is what controls their influence, their sphere.
Money is what controls their influence. The moment money comes into play, they are successful. Do you understand? Which is very, very easy to toy with such people intelligence. And I tell
using money.
Using money. So the village people syndrome, Babalawo will tell them it is the village people because you don't have money. You go to the imams will tell you it's the village people. You go to the pastors will tell you it's the village people. So you can see, because they have what they term as success, is what they are using to exploit them now. So, and the reason why I say that, I say it depends on individual. So the village people, it's a popular slogan, it's a general slogan that is used in Nigeria, but it varies for classes, for classes of people living in a particular society. So for those people who are poor, they hide sometimes under their laziness,
ignorance,
their ignorance, their inability to achieve the right things. They hide under that particular umbrella and term it as what?
Village
people. Most times when you've tried and failed, you say no, this is village people. But crying out loud, they say Thomas Edison, is he the one that came up with light?
Yes.
He tried how many times?
Almost 99 times. So the 100 times was when he was able to achieve his
meaning that he learned how to fail 99 times. But when you fail 1 or 2, 3 times or 30 times, it takes discipline and dedication for you to continue doing the same thing and seeing the same result over and over again, believing that you will see a different result one particular day. It takes discipline, dedication, belief, and having a blueprint. This thing will work. Because if you don't have a blueprint, or you are just doing nonsense, you have a blueprint, this thing will work. But because there are some external factors working on this, and that's why we're not achieving that result. So it takes dedication, discipline for you to do something 30 times and still continue doing it, even when you are still getting the same result, believing that one fateful day you will get a positive response.
Sorry, can you please repeat what you just said? That it will take what? It will repeat after failing.
Yes.
30 times and you still repeat. Now the reason why I want you to repeat that, probably this can be part of or this could be our third episode. The reason why it's going to be our third episode is because I've seen where people say that it is foolishness to continue doing what you did,
doing the same thing over and over
again,
expecting a different
result. Now, in the case of Thomas Edison, you can see that he tried it 99 times.
Yes.
So if someone should look at him at that particular point in time, it's foolishness.
It's foolishness.
For him to be trying something 99 times, you're not getting the result that you desire.
Yes.
Right? So, in that situation, you said something just now. You said that when you try something and you are not getting it, you need is it motivation?
So I'm saying it takes dedication.
All right.
Right? It takes discipline.
Okay.
To keep on doing the same thing over and over again,
right.
Even when getting same result, but believing that there is a positive outcome that can come from that result.
A possible positive outcome.
Not just a possible positive, a positive outcome. Because someone repeating same thing over and over again knows that there's a positive outcome. Why does that person know that there's a positive outcome coming out from that thing? Because that person, like we said in the previous episode, having a blueprint. When something is being revealed to you, you have a blueprint.
That's true.
Of that particular, revelation, that particular idea, that particular innovation.
Regardless of the current outcome.
Regardless of the current outcome.
So you make sure you focus on the blueprint you got.
You make sure
your previous blueprint.
Or the blueprint. Because that blueprint is what is taking you to get that positive outcome. It's not possibility, positive outcome. But the truth about the matter is this: some of these innovations, some of these ideas that you get in a particular season might not yield the positive result in that season, because that season does not warrant that kind of idea to come into manifestation.
That's right. That's right.
It takes another season. But regardless, you need to start putting in the work in that particular season. Those are the things that you will use as what you fall back to as part of your research work, your thesis, your literature review, whatever you want to call
hypothesis.
Your hypothesis that okay, these are the things that are so this is what it is. So there is need for you to start regardless of the season. And you might even start in a particular season and you still get your result in that particular season. And sometimes it takes another season. When we talk about season, we'll talk about external factors. What are the external factors? We'll talk about the government in place. We'll talk about the economy that is in place in place at that particular point in time. We'll talk about the people. We'll talk about the trend. There are a lot of things that you need to work on that will actually make a paradigm shift towards that particular goal you want to achieve.
Now you remember why you were talking, you said something about seasons, right? And I remember there's a place in scripture that's precisely in the book of Habakkuk where the Bible talks about vision, and that vision having an appointed time.
Yes.
That you got a vision now does not mean that the vision will manifest in your current season. All right? So probably your current season might be a time of preparation, while the next season of your life is going to be the time of your manifestation.
Yeah, absolutely correct.
When you get a vision, when you have a plan, so you must first understand that that plan must fit into the season for which it is designed in order for it to manifest. That's what you're saying, right?
Absolutely, and you are absolutely correct.
All right.
And if we look at history, we look at when we talk about history, history is deep, it's wide,
very wide.
It's just that most people, when you talk about history, they try to limit history to what they believe is history. History is deep. Biblical history is there.
Family history
is there. Scientific history is there.
That's
and
true.
These are things that we need to harmonize. That's the right word. Harmonize these things together to achieve results. Like biblical history, when we look at, for example, Noah, there is a revelation that the earth will be wiped with what? Will be flooded with water. But this revelation has been in existence in another season during the time of Enoch. Is it Enoch or I think I want to mix it up now. I know there was Methuselah. Methuselah was the longest man that lived on earth.
Yes.
If you look at history, that is what we call the bibliography now of the genealogy. The genealogy. Right. You will realize that Methuselah actually, was in the generation of Noah.
That's true.
It's not by mistake, it's not by chance. It's also guiding, teaching. These are the ways of God. This is what Enoch, my father, did. This is how it goes. This is how it goes. Teaching Noah at that point in time, because before he died, and Noah continued. But there's also tutorship, or mentorship, like we said the last time, to Noah. So what we are saying is this idea has been there in another season. It took years to manifest in another season. So what we are saying is this: Thomas Edison, for example, the person that came up with electric bulb, many years, many times. You could just try to fit yourself into that shoe. Imagine how that man felt at that point in time. Like, man, this is not working. But he kept on doing the same thing. Imagine what people will say: look, are you still doing this thing?
Doing the same
thing that is not working. And when he finished it, he discovered 99 times how to fail. Not 99 times of failure, but he discovered how to fail 99 times. So, what we are saying is simple. Revelation can be given,
but and it is appointed for a season.
It's appointed for a season. It might not be manifested in that particular season that you are, but manifest in another season.
Yes. In addition to what you just said, I think this episode we are looking majorly on the fact that you can be doing the same thing and get the desirable results.
Yes.
It depends on the blueprint that you have.
Very important.
Before you began your journey.
Very important.
All right.
Very
Just
important.
like Misho said, he said, making reference to Thomas Edison. Can you imagine a man trying something for 99 times? We don't know how true that is, but according to historical records, he tried it for 99 times. At 85, he didn't stop. At 90, he didn't stop.
Yeah.
He tried it 99 times. It was the 100th time that he was able to get the result that he desired. So, the stereotype, or should we say, the claims that you can't be doing the same thing and expect a different result, you can see that this particular discussion have countered that statement. But first, it must be on the ground that there was a blueprint.
I think that was what I want to just actually emphasize on. That particular slogan, that particular statement, you don't do the same thing over and over again and
expect a different result.
That claim works when you are doing something without having
a blueprint.
Without having an innovation. When we talk about blueprint, not just having a blueprint, not copying someone's
having
blueprint.
A goal, a picture of where you are going to.
Blueprint as well can mean that I copied someone's blueprint.
That's true.
Because someone find a way of putting his blueprint into
getting things done
into written form or into text form. I copied it and it's not working. I might give up. That you understand?
Because I'm not getting the desirable result.
So it does not necessarily mean just the blueprint, but the innovation, the light. The light in that particular idea.
So the light we are talking about now must come from within.
It must come from within.
The conviction.
It must come from within.
The conviction.
It's a conviction. If you can't see that light and the result has not yet been achieved from that
even
light,
with the blueprint in your hand,
you might miss it.
That's true.
You might miss it. So the light is the most important thing. Having the light, which is the innovation, it comes from within. That is what will be pushing you. That is the passion that keeps pushing you to say, no, I must get this thing done. For example, let us even look politically as well. Muhammad Buhari has been contesting election for more than how many years? Since 2003 presidential. It looks as if this man doesn't give up. Till 2015, he got it done. 2015, he was elected. Consistency. There is a conviction within for him to be doing that.
There's something for him in the presidency.
There's something within for the presidency. So, Atiku has been doing the same. Now he has been contesting regularly, but I don't know if it's from within or a copy. Which is what we talk about, copying the blueprint. because I see someone doing it. But if it's from within, then
there's possibility.
There's a possibility, of course. But if it's just because of someone did it and succeed, and I'm doing it, you might not, by 80, you might give up. But the truth about if it's conviction, even at 90, you can still get it. So what we are saying is the light must be there
with the blueprint,
and the season must tally with your ideology.
So there must be an alignment with the conviction.
There must be an alignment with the conviction.
Having a blueprint, which helps you to build a formidable structure.
Yes.
And also make sure that it aligns with the right season.
Yes.
In fact, in addition to what you just said, I listened to a man of God. He talked about him copying from a particular father of faith. And he said that from his experience, you can copy the person that you are following and still fail.
Of course.
The reason why you will fail is because you must learn to understand your location. And one of the reference that he made was on the fact that if you are making amala in Lagos, it will sell. But if you make amala in Port Harcourt, it's not going to sell.
It's not going to sell.
So one of the things that is going to sell in where? In Port Harcourt, if you do akpu, it's going to sell. So now this talks about what you are pointing out. There must be a conviction. That's one. Number two, there must be a blueprint, which is going to be the map through which you will follow in order to achieve that particular goal. And also you must understand season. Talking about the sons of Issachar also, it says that they understood season and they were what? They were in charge. They were the ones leading their brethren at that particular point in time. I think that's something that our viewers need to understand in order to make the most of their life.
Yes. So I want to find a way to now relate this to the village people syndrome.
All right.
The village people syndrome, like you said, like I said earlier, and I think you people will agree with me, is an individual something. It's an individual thing, yeah. For the rich, they don't think the village people works. For the poor, they feel everything, they tie their failures towards their irresponsibility. Most people are so lazy, they say it's village people. Some people procrastinate from here to tomorrow, they will say it's still village people. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And I've told you that most of these men of God have now, used this opportunity to, to lure gullible members using this village people syndrome. That okay, it is your ancestors that is doing you these things.
Powers from your father's house.
And personally, I conclude that Nigeria itself is under ancestral attack.
That is the whole country.
The whole country is under ancestral attack.
That's true.
Meaning that village people is even attacking the country itself. So if the village people is attacking the country itself, it means everybody that actually
is under their influence.
That actually springs up from Nigeria is under the influence of village people. What do I mean by they are under the influence of village people? Our economy is bad. Somebody that is willing to work here can work and still not get what? The desired profit that he desires. Is that not village people? So even the country is under village people attack. Because that same person, put that same person in UK, that same energy is not going to go up to that energy. It's not going to exhibit that energy that is exhibiting in Nigeria. Just maybe 60% of his energy, and he will be making the right amount of money based on the fact that there is an economy that works and that is stable.
A working system
that is stable, that is working actually. So Nigeria itself is under village attack, and that's why I always say, men of God, Babalawos and co, that tells you that they are attacking you from your father's and mother's side. They can't go to Europe and tell a white man that they are attacking you from your father's and mother's side. His father and mother's side ancestral causes, is it only limited to Africa or Nigeria? Is this something that we need to think? Is a what call it food for thought? It's a food for thought for all Nigerians. Ancestral lineage cannot just be only limited to father and mother side, but to only Nigerians. What of the white people? And let me tell you again, what we call ancestral force, village people in Nigeria, it's lack of money. There is nothing else. It's lack of money. The moment you are poor, they say it's village people. So it's lack of money, not based on productivity, not based on technological or industrial development. It's just lack of money for an individual. And this is so bad because I look at men of God, babalawos and others, using this to exploit, ordinary Nigerians. You are supposed to tell them the truth, go and work and get money. But they tell you that because you don't have money, knowing fully well that you can't even have money because the economy of the country does not warrant you to have money. It's not a workable environment for you.
In fact, you just pointed out something very, very powerful. The influence of village people. Now, what we are saying is that truly spiritual interference is real. But when there is a system that works, their influence on that system is limited. All right? You made reference to someone traveling to outside the country, maybe to a foreign land, and the person thriving in that particular location. Why? Because there is a system that works. All right? And you remember, I said something earlier. I said that the influence of village people thrives on the ignorance, the laziness of the people, in as much as it is individual. The influence of village people, in other words, the influence of the supernatural on the affairs of men, on the affairs of mortal, is more when there is no knowledge. No wonder the Bible says that my people perish, not because there is a force that is limiting them, not because there is an invisible force that will want them not to thrive. He said my people perish because they lack knowledge. The word knowledge is because it means there is no base, no working system, no understanding, no technical know-how. So as long as you do not have the technical know-how, you do not have the self-development that will help you to thrive in a particular line, then village people will thrive.
So let me come in again. I think I want to conclude on this note.
Yes.
By saying,
please,
that if the prayers, the jujus, and everything that is working, that they claim that it's, the people that used to fight the village people, if they channel this energy into self-development and
building
reform,
a formidable system.
Because since the government is failing in that aspect, they come in, do their own things that will help to develop citizens, individuals, where job opportunities can be created, where they increase price of things, where people can, where they increase salaries and all that, where people can say, okay, I'm enjoying this, and production is ongoing. I tell you, village people syndrome automatically dies.
That's true.
Because people will come into the country, and it will be a working country. Those in the far north, the far south, far east, everybody can do one or two things and say, okay, I'm comfortable, I can live comfortably. Village people syndrome dies a natural death. Not that I'm praying for you against village people syndrome, whereas you not. So pray against the economy. How do you pray against the economy? You pray, then action by supporting.
So that does not mean that doesn't mean prayer does not work. If prayer works, but there's a need for action.
Yeah, prayer works because
when you pray, you need to act.
Yes, prayer is also a form of communication with God.
That's right.
A form of building your spirituality.
Yes.
So most times everybody try to communicate with his or her maker, and that way it tears up your innermost spirit. So automatically that's prayer. So automatically when I say you pray, the only thing is that we have so abused it that I say I pray for you. You're supposed to be praying for yourself. How do you pray? Your prayer is your communication with your maker. Most people don't even know how to communicate with their maker. But okay, when you communicate with your maker, what do we call it? We call it prayer. So instead of praying for me, action, but at the same time you pray. Why do I emphasize on praying? Because there is need for also spiritual edification.
That's right.
There is need for
Spiritual exercise.
Improve. Of course, these are things that improve your spirit,
Your prayer life, your fasting
Your prayer
life,
life, your
your
fasting.
word life.
All these things also has to do with like you say whenever you worship God, people when you worship God, it's not for the benefit of God, it's for your own good.
That's right.
If I fast, you think you are fasting for God? You will feel healthy. It's one of the exercise, one of the routine for man, for the physical body to actually say, wow, I'm getting better. Do you understand? So whatever you do in prayers, it's for spiritual edification. It's for improvement of your spiritual lifestyle. Then after that, you must what? Action. Must take action. Yes, must take action to ensure that the life or the environment you tend to live in is a successful environment, that is flawless of all these challenges that we are facing. So I tell you, village people syndrome is in quotes in Nigeria for the poor, because the rich doesn't have village people. So when a rich man, his child, maybe something happens to a child which can be a sudden mishap, it's an accident, the poor man will give himself hope that his village people, just to say that his village people also attack him. But the rich man doesn't believe in village people.
Yeah.
He always believe in real life, real time practicals, real time action. Let's see this thing work. How can I get this done?
All right. Thank you very much, Misho. As we draw the curtain in this particular episode, we want you to have this as a take home, and also be expecting your comments, your contributions in this particular episode. But the conclusion is the village people syndrome does not thrive in a system that works. When we talk about the system that works, we are talking about the corporate system. It could be a nation, it could be in a family. And when we talk about the system that works, it could be in the life of an individual. When you develop yourself to certain capacity, the influence of the village people will not have a hold on you.
Yeah.
All right. So in our comment section, please, we want you to share your comment concerning this particular topic, and also let us know if you want us to talk on a particular topic in order to bring you enlightenment. Thank you very much. My name is Samuel, and here with me is
Misho.
See you some other time.
We are here with Wisdome Time Out with Sam Misho.
See you some other time. Thank you very much.
It's cheers.